Will Manchester United break into the top five this weekend, or will we throw away more points like we've done in 4 out of our 5 last matches? Will another relegation form side frustrate us? Wolves have fewer points than a triangle, for fuck's sake. Could they still be a bit of a banana skin for us? Can Ruben Amorim take a few steps maybe towards adapting to the Premier League, showing a bit of increase in tempo, a little bit more direct play? I want your thoughts and I want your predictions today as we preview Manchester United's trip to take on Wolves at the Molineux Stadium. We're talking team news, we're talking tactics, score predictions, starting 11s, all that. You guys know the drill. We're also going to be reacting to the World Cup group stage draw as well. I want your thoughts on that because obviously huge World Cup. Countries in there that people honestly never heard of. I mean, went to school in America, so it is what it is. We don't know shit. But we're going to talk about all of it today, guys. Welcome to the channel, you guys. Welcome back. It is United versus everybody. I am your host, Sean. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Start with a little bit of news as we kick things off. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe. And who's here in the chat today? What is going on? Lucky Singh's in the house saying exactly what we've been saying for almost a year now when it comes to just move the ball quicker, get more direct, maybe a couple more sprints. It's not hard. Like, no one's asking Amorim to change his entire tactics. Do what you're doing, Amorim. Just do it a little bit faster. It's not that difficult. We're too slow. We are way too slow. But good to see you, Lucky. Hope you're doing well, my friend. You are getting all your thoughts in today. I'm going to check back in with you a little bit later on. But Jomo in the house, got a very bad feeling. Sorry. Well, get your thoughts in. There's a prediction. I want to know your thoughts. There's a poll in the chat. So let me know your thoughts on the outcome, the result. We will come back to that here in a little while. Danny B in the house. Big up, Danny B. Hope you're doing well. Hit that like button. Yes, do. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We are on the road to 3K. I did promise that if we got to 3K by Christmas, when Dylan and I, my co-host for the Kickabout, and really it's his channel almost now too, he's trying to take over. I don't see you, Dylan. In any case, if we got there before Dylan and I go over to Manchester for a couple matches, I would promise the winner of a giveaway. We would do a giveaway for 3K. The winner would get their pick of something from the Megastore while I'm there. I'm going to break my rule and buy you something from the Megastore. A couple weeks left. I believe in you guys, but that's the best way to do it. But welcome. Good to see you, Danny. Hope you're doing well, bud. Bacon Burger, that just made me so much more hungry than it needed to be. United have to win against this poor week. Yeah, we absolutely do. There's no excuses. As the title of the video implies, it is win or bust. It is 3 points or bust. It is 3 points or nothing. The draw is not good enough. A loss, definitely. If we get a loss, we got questions to ask here, but we absolutely have to get 3 points. But let's start with a little bit of news, and then we'll dive into this World Cup, and then we're going to go into the nitty-gritty and talk about this match. So a couple updates. Under 18s played Newcastle yesterday and beat them 4-0. Newcastle, so Kakonki and Nkoto linked up for the first 2 goals. Was it 4-0 or 3-0? I'm going to check now. But they linked up for the first 2 goals in the second half. Ajayi made it 3-0 late on. The big news on that one was J.C. Carrick, who's Michael Carrick's son, made his debut for the club as well, which is awesome to see. We've got Kai Rooney, we've got J.C. Carrick, we've got Fletcher's. Really cool. I like the way that we're kind of doing that in the academy. Obviously, I don't want any nepotism. I don't want any favoritism. If you're good enough, that's cool. I don't really care. But it is cool to see. I'm not going to lie. Growing up watching guys like Carrick and Fletcher and Rooney play, and then now their sons, it makes me feel old, but it's still pretty cool to see, though, in real time. But yes, they did end up winning. Jim Thwaites, by the way, I don't know who watched it. It was on MUTV. Jim Thwaites is class, by the way. Every time that kid gets on the ball, he reminds me a lot of like Vitinha at PSG or something, or the way like Odegaard almost, when Odegaard's dropping a little deep to get on the ball. That he's just already scanning, and he's already got a picture, and he's already got 100 different options in his brain ready to go whenever Thwaites is on the ball. So I'm really like watching him play as well. If you did watch it, let me know your thoughts. Who stood out to you in that under 18s clash? The women's team beat West Ham 2-1 this morning as well. So if anyone watched that, it's on ESPN Plus now, the women's game. They're on a tear. They're doing really well in the Champions League, and obviously won again today as well. Dana says, yeah, that new right back looks handy too as well. some really good performances. Matato, I thought, did really well yesterday, getting in and about. Made a lot of changes as well, so it's 3-0. Sorry, but it's really good. We have a lot of good. I mean, the future looks bright. We did the Academy watch a couple weeks back. You guys, I went through a lot of the big standouts in the under 21s, a couple in the under 18s as well. What they're all about, what they look like, who could be ready to maybe take the step up of their respect, like JJ Gabriel, maybe taking a step up to the under 21 soon, things like that. So go check out that video if you guys haven't seen that yet and you want to learn a little bit more about the Academy. You guys know we love the Academy on this channel. We talk about it all the time. We've done some watch-alongs for the Academy matches. I got to go to an Academy match last time out. It was about a year ago now, which was awesome. It was an F8 Youth Cup match at Elite Sports Village. It was awesome. So big up. Danny says, can't think and name something with a K. Didn't catch all of the 18s, just highlights. Yeah. Thankfully, it was on MUTV. It's hit or miss these days. You pay for it, and staff cuts mean they don't always get to broadcast them, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. You get a couple of interns from the University of Manchester who are trying to do broadcast degrees. You get a VO camera, which is the giant green triangle thing. You go, it's not that hard. It's just really not that hard to do. It doesn't cost that much. So give them some credits and pay for lunch and travel, and you get a VO camera, Sir Jim. It's really not that hard. But in unrelated though, speaking of youngsters, I was watching Azad Akmar play this morning. The more I watch Keith Smith, the more I want him at United. I'm not saying he's first team ready, as in he's going to start, but the more I watch him, the more I think he's exactly the sort of, I don't want to say Bruno replacement, but like that mold of player in the system, that kind of playmaker. He plays in a pivot, but he is definitely more the creative part of that pivot. Knows when to kind of step up and make a challenge. Knows when to kind of sweep around, make himself an option. He has an eye for just vertical balls, trying to get the ball in, not just long balls either. I'm talking about incisive passes as well. He really good reading of the game, really good timing, good delay, knows when to step up, when to hold back. Really like the look of Keith Smith. We did that deep dive scouting report on Keith Smith a couple weeks back. You guys go back and watch that one too if you want to learn a little bit more what I'm talking about. But the kid has got something. He definitely got something. I think he's much more composed, kind of just always it's like he's always thinking again, kind of like Jim Thwaites. Maybe we don't need Keith Smith. I don't know, but I like him. Moving on to my daily laugh at Liverpool moment. Mo Salah has pulled a Marcus Rashford or a CR7 or a Jadon Sancho or a Garnacho even, and just decided to just throw a grenade into everything going on at Liverpool right now. It's like literally the ship is sinking and someone just decides to literally toss a grenade into the bow. Like, it's just ridiculous. This is what Mo Salah had to say. Gave an interview yesterday. He said, I don't know why, but it seems to me, how I see it, that someone doesn't want me in the club. It seems like the club has thrown me under the bus. That is how I'm feeling. I think it is very clear that someone wanted me to get the blame. Liverpool are falling apart right now, and I'm absolutely bricked up for it. Not even gonna lie. Big up, Rob. Always United in the house. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Get that off the screen. So Salah apparently thinks he should automatically have a starting place. He's just, I've done a lot for this club. Why am I not starting? Like, nobody should be guaranteed a starting place in the squad, in my opinion. You need to earn it. You need to perform. You need, like, what have you done for me lately needs to be the motto. It doesn't really matter. It's just, I felt the same about Ronaldo under Ten Hag, so I'm not playing favorites here. But surely Salah's gone soon, right? Like, you can't, like, this is what players do now, right? When they don't get what they want, they throw a little temper tantrum and go give an interview or go do a social media post or something, and that's basically their way of forcing a move, basically. Surely that's got to be what's going on, right? It's just ridiculous. I haven't seen any Slot has lost the dressing room headlines, though, like we were getting under Eric Ten Hag, so, of course, wasn't expecting to see any of those, but in any case, surely Salah can't play for Liverpool anymore, right? Like, he's done. Like, that's just the way it is. It's either they're gonna, and this is a turning point for Liverpool too. You either have to just sell Salah in January, like, you can't stay any longer, like, don't let him play anymore, or you sack Slot, and now you're right back to where United were 10 years ago, letting player power just dictate things for you when we sacked Jose Mourinho. Spoiler alert for the first episode of the next season of What If on that one. But this is embarrassing, man. Like, this is embarrassing. Rich is in the house. Big up, Rich. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well, man. What are you guys getting up to today on this Sunday? It is Sunday. It's been snowing all morning here. Don't know where you guys are. It is snowing. I've got to go run to the store and shovel some snow after this, but I'm trying to delay it as often as I can. How you doing, Rich? um, but yeah, Salah, just ridiculous. I mean, I think he said like something like it's goodbye. There's AFCON coming up. We'll see what happens during AFCON. He's got to go, right? You pull a full on Cristiano Ronaldo, drop this interview right before international duty, so you don't have to return to the Liverpool dressing room basically and face the music. He's basically saying, listen, either I'm coming back from AFCON to no Arne Slot, or I'm not coming back from AFCON, basically. Oh man, honestly, dude, forget watching the Premier League right now. Just watching Liverpool completely disintegrate into madness one little bit at a time is way more enjoyable. I want to make some popcorn to watch this shit. You never know what's going to happen. I don't know if you guys watched that match the other day when they completely bottled a 2-0 lead against Leeds. But that shit had me dying laughing, man. And then this interview afterward, that's just like the icing in the cherry on the cake, man. This is beautiful, but surely that's Salah gone. I know it's not a Liverpool channel, but again, this is our Laugh at Liverpool moment. We've been pretty much making that a regular part of the channel these days, you guys know. But let me know your thoughts. Salah gone. Will they back Salah? Will they back Slot? What do you guys think? If they back Salah, that's player power. If they back Slot, the fan base is going to be split, but I actually don't. If it were me, I'd be like, Salah, you've got to go, because you can't let players dictate that. You can't. Salah's been shit this season after he got that big contract not that long ago. It's fine if he wants to get dropped. Jamie Carragher's even been saying like he needs to get dropped, like he shouldn't be an automatic starter. There's nothing wrong with that. I felt the same about Cristiano Ronaldo. I've even said the same about Bruno. The problem with Bruno is we don't have anybody to replace him with in the squad. So it is what it is. But Danny said, I turned off when they went up 2-0. Thought they would run away with it. Check the score an hour later. Yeah, it is. I mean, they're the gift that keeps on giving this year, man. It's been Arsenal for like the last 5 years, but Liverpool just absolutely rub it. Rob's throwing a little bit of a party. Yeah, I mean, it's hilarious. So that was our Laugh at Liverpool moment, you guys. Because can never have too many of those, right? How's everybody doing today? You guys want to talk about World Cup? Let's talk about the World Cup draw, because that stuff, we can laugh at Liverpool all day long. Let's bring up this World Cup group stage here. So, World Cup, obviously there's some teams still in the playoffs. I don't know if you guys have seen some of those. You've got teams you can see in some of these groups. The winner of some of these playoffs will join their groups, like Group A, Group B, D, F, I, K have groups or teams that still have to go through. So, but look at these groups here. Do you see any sort of noticeable group of death? I've been struggling to see what a group of death might look like here. Because I just don't, honestly. Maybe Group I don't know who Senegal have these days. Is Sadio Mane and Koulibaly still playing at that level? And for Senegal, I mean, 5 years ago, you would have definitely said maybe Group I with France, Senegal, in Norway. I mean, Norway are pretty stacked right now with talent. Maybe Group J, Austria looked pretty decent under Ralph Ragnick. Algeria, you can't sleep on Algeria, but I mean, they're not. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't see any group of death. Group L, maybe Ghana. Who did Ghana have? Kudus. I mean, Croatia still as deep as they were when Modric was leading the line in 2018. I don't know, man. I don't see any group of death sticking out. The whole point of having more teams, and they have now these pathways for the bigger teams to basically ensure that the bigger teams that are going to get through. That's basically the way they're doing it now. It's basically Champions League. More teams mean more football, but it's also supposed to be guaranteed. Basically, the bigger clubs get in. But so Group A, the playoffs, obviously you can see it's going to be Denmark, Czech Republic, Republic of Ireland, or North Macedonia. Down here in Group B, you got Italy, Wales, Bosnia and Herzegovina, or Northern Ireland. So that one could be interesting. I don't know why people rate Canada. They're not that good, honestly. Group D, we've got Kosovo. It looks like Slovakia, Romania, and Turkey. So maybe Group D, if Turkey get in, maybe that could be an interesting one as well. Who else we got here? Group F. So Group F, we've got Albania, Poland, Sweden, and the Ukraine as well. We got here Jamaica, who's that? New Caledonia and Congo, it looks like. Bolivia, Iraq, and Suriname for Group I as well. What do you guys make of this kind of thing? Danny says, I think if Ireland qualify, we grow into Group A. Yep. That's what it's going to be. Ridden it, welcome. Good to see a new face. Big up. It says Brazil, Morocco, Scotland. Yes, I guess Scotland. I guess don't sleep on Scotland. I mean, maybe it is Group C. Maybe Group C is the one to watch out for. Haiti kind of doesn't do it. I mean, I don't know. I did a mission trip in Haiti about 12 years ago. Coached, did some footy camps at the orphanage there. And some of those little Haitians, man, it's a humbling experience as a 27-year-old guy who's been playing football for most of his life to get nutmegged by a little 6-year-old Haitian orphan. I got to a point where I was getting so frustrated. I just started picking him up and carrying him around in little bunks. But maybe some of those little kids will be playing for the national team now. Who knows? Ridden, it reckons that Japan can beat the Netherlands. Does anyone mind if I put this on the small screen now? Because I'm over here. Danny says, any games on in Michigan? I think England might be playing Patriot Stadium. As far as I remember, no. The nearest one to me is probably going to be, I want to say like New York. I think maybe Chicago. Are there games in Chicago? I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. But honestly, Danny, like a couple years ago, I might have been like, yeah, let's go. But now seeing how much it's going to cost for flights or for lodging, and then the ticket cost for some of these games is absolutely asinine. It's embarrassing how much this stuff's going to cost, and then obviously with supply and demand, you try to get an Airbnb or hotel, it's going to cost you like 3-4 times as much per night than it would otherwise. So it's really out of the question. Hopefully we are going to have some epic watch parties around here. Maybe Bill will throw down. I think maybe we can get a couple of guys to throw down some money towards a community pot to supply the food for some of these matches, but we will be doing it. We will be kind of reacting to them. Watch-alongs, maybe. It just depends on what my plans. You guys know I'm a fan first, so there's an opportunity for me to go and watch a game with friends. I'm probably going to lean more towards that, so it is what it is. Reading it, Jonathan David. Yeah, it is one of those things. You guys know that Jonathan David was one of my biggest picks going into the summer. I thought he was such an underrated striker. He was available on a free and went to Juve, and now just you live with the choices you make, man. And now he's just struggling, dude. But hey, live and learn. Could have had him, but But who could be a standout? Who could be your dark horses for this ones, you guys? I don't know if there's even maybe like we talked about, maybe Group C could be considered the group of death. But when you've got about 187 teams involved now, is there even a group of death anymore? It's like one good team and then a bunch of just teams that most of us in America have probably not even heard of the country before, because that's how we roll here in America. So let me know who your dark horse would be. Let me know who maybe your final four, who that could be, and let me know who your guys' early favorites is. I always tend to lean towards Spain. I don't know why. I think Spain are usually pretty stacked. Obviously, France have been in loads of finals. Portugal, I haven't looked at the pathways yet because I don't know. I haven't seen what the actual brackets look like. But to me, I've got to be leaning more towards like a final four of like Spain, England, Portugal, Argentina kind of a situation. I mean, those are probably the big ones. Ridden, it's got Norway as dark horses. Jarvis over at Tactical Devils. We'll love to hear you say that. Big up, Jarvis. Hope you're having a good weekend if you're watching. But yeah, to me, I always lean towards Spain, England, Portugal, Argentina. I think, is Messi even playing? He's got to be like my age now. I know Ronaldo, they made special dispensation for Ronaldo to get to play the first couple matches, even though he was suspended. He was sent off against Ireland, so I don't know what that has to do with it. But well, I mean, when you go and hang out with the president behind closed doors and the president of FIFA and whatnot, you kind of get special treatment. So Big up Rob Taff in the house. Yes, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you guys are new again. We are on the road to 3K. If we get there before Christmas, big giveaway. The winner will get their pick of something from the mega store. When Dylan and I are over there, I will let you pick whatever you want. I'm not allowed to like walk through the mega store with my phone. They don't let you do that, but it is what it is. But yeah, who's your Final Four? Who's your dark horse? Who's your favorite to win the thing? Danny says Spain, France, maybe Norway get to the semis. Good shout. Norway are good. They've got, and the thing about Norway too, especially if you watch clubs like Bodo Glimt or something, they're local. It's almost like Athletic Bilbao in a way. They're local. They're tight knit group. They stay together for a long time. There's a lot of camaraderie. You've got the odd ones who go off and do things, like your Sanderberga, like your Odegaards and whatnot, but they're a really tight knit group. You're going to have a lot of guys. You're going to have your stars out there like your Holland, your Odegaards and whatnot, but then you're going to have your tight knit guys who are still playing around, who are basically going to be doing a lot of the nitty gritty. But don't sleep on them. They're deep. They've got good depth. So Rob Taft says Morocco, dark horse. Yeah, Morocco. I always want Morocco to do real. Obviously, Morocco won the Under-20 World Cup. And they beat Argentina handedly in the final. You guys know we did a best 11 from that tournament a couple last month, I think it was, because I watched a lot of it. Some really good players in Morocco were very good, and the final couple of their players made it to my best 11. So Morocco, I always want Morocco to do better. I feel like they almost might have missed their chance though, because a lot of the players that were big in that last World Cup are just older now, like Taremi and whatnot. Remember Taremi was at Porto. We talked about maybe getting him on a free. I thought it could be a really good option. Then he says Ecuador, Morocco, dark horses. Nice. Yeah, I do agree, Rob. It would be nice to see a new winner, but again, it's all you gotta earn it. You gotta fight. You gotta win. Maybe US could be a dark horse. I think the best we've done is round of 16 back in 2014, I think, which oddly enough was when we pretty much were a team full of MLS players. Now we don't have as many MLS players, and we don't seem to be doing that well. We didn't even qualify a couple years back, back in 2018, I think. And so, what are you going to do? Danny says Ivory Coast might be a good shout. Yeah, who do they have? So obviously they've got Ahmad. Trying to think of who they have even more anymore at the Ivory Coast. Big up Jarvis. His ears are burning. He's here lurking. Didn't like Norway's group. Check out Senegal's players. Lots of talent, but we most likely get Bolivia from the playoffs. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the one I sort of leaned to first, Jarvis, was Group I as maybe the group of death, because I just can't remember now off the top of my head who Senegal have these days. Like last time I really paid attention to Senegal was when they still had Koulibaly and Sadio Mane. Let me go check and see who Senegal have here, y'all. Hold up. While I'm doing that, you guys, make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing. Okay, so they last played in a friendly. Who do we got here? Nicholas Jackson, Sadio Mane. Who is this? Papa Gay. Who's that? Mamadou Sarr. Who's this guy? Dude, they still have Koulibaly. He's still playing back there. Edouard Mendy, forgot about him. Oh, they've got Diouf, the keeper who plays in France. Idrissa Gana. Oh, they've got Ismail Sarr. Didn't realize that. Ismail Sarr. Nice. He's a good shout. Njai. Oh, I forgot Njai is... Okay, yes. Senegal are pretty stacked. They've got a lot of really good attackers. They're pretty front heavy. All right. I'm going Group I, maybe Group of Death right now. Y'all let me know your group. It's right now it's a toss-up between Group C and Group I. You guys let me know your thoughts. Danny says, have you done a report on Yan Diomande yet, pal? Yeah, I know you mentioned him. He's on the list, Danny. I'm like, when it comes to doing the scouting report specials, I'm like 2 or 3 out, because I've got one prepped and ready to go with like 5 or 6, and I've got another ready, pretty much almost ready to go. So I'm pretty far out right now with that. I just did one this past week. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go check it out. Sanjay's in the house. Big up, Sanjay. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, Senegal is a good shout, Jarvis. Thank you for reminding me that just to go check out who they have. We'll do a big run-up in the ahead of time. I think me and a bunch of the guys like Bill and Justin, you guys have met those guys. We're going to try to do like a bracket challenge. Maybe I'll post my bracket on the YouTube on the community post page, so you guys can maybe put yours up against there and see what happens. Maybe we can do a bracket challenge as a channel. You got to upload your brackets and stick to it, and maybe we'll do a winner. We'll do a giveaway. Something if that's something you guys think we can make work, we can check it out. Danny says we should move for him or Musa. Is it Musa? You talking about Nusa or Musa? There's a lot of good players out there, man. But so interesting. Again, get in last minute with your shouts for dark horses, your shouts for Final Four, and shouts for winner of the World Cup. But I always tend to lean towards Spain. France are usually a big shout, man. But although Spain did break my heart back in 2018, I did a whole bracket, had them going all the way, and then they sacked their coach like the day before the World Cup started, man. So it pretty much just screwed me entirely. But let me know. Nusa, yeah. I figured that's who you're talking about. Yeah, Nusa. You guys know we've been watching Nusa since he was playing at Club Brugge. He's an excellent, excellent player. Really like him out. He's one you don't want to miss out on, like Desiree Doué, that kind of level that you don't want to see go to like PSG or some nonsense. But all right, let's keep getting your World Cup thoughts in as we go along. We're going to move on to the match preview because that's why we're here. So make sure you're liking, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get your thoughts in as we go along, too. Also, members, don't forget memberships. Best way to get involved in the channel. Starting 11 and Legends members, there is a community post. You can actually join the WhatsApp group because the conversation doesn't have to end when the stream ends. So it's the best way to keep the conversation going. Legends members can also join virtually when the weekly kickabout rolls around, when Dylan and I kind of talk about the week's, news, the matches, the previews, all that stuff. So keep that in mind, you guys. It's the best way. And also, before I forget, as you can see in the top right corner of your screen, today is the last day for the 20% off sale in the United vs. Everybody store. So it was a whole Cyber Week sale. Today is the final day. So if there's anything you're sitting on the fence about, if there's anything that you maybe want to get in time for the holidays, if you celebrate Christmas, now's the day to do it. 20% off. Go check it out. Danny says, what is my view on Dallow's comments? What were Dallow's comments? Oh, about needing to be obsessed? Is that what you're talking about? When he was like, I mean, it's pretty much almost what we've heard other players say, like Dalit, Mazraoui. It's good that they're kind of looking at themselves, right? Being a little bit more reflective and a little bit more like looking in the mirror. I don't mind. You guys know how I feel. Enough of this. I'm of the mindset, and I say this to people in my life as well, when there's arguments or something, if you couldn't do this, if you couldn't use your words, how would I be able to tell that you mean what you say? Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, in my opinion. I don't care about needing to be obsessed. I shouldn't have to tell 26, 27-year-olds, Champions League winners, full internationals, I shouldn't have to tell these players to try harder. I shouldn't have to tell them to do these things. It's like learning how to have to like handwrite by the time you get to college. Your college professor should not have to tell you how to do that. You should know the basics of that by the time you get there. And I've not shied away from my feelings about that. But yeah, Dallo said something about we need to be more obsessed about playing for this club or something. Like, if you don't get it by this point, like, and again, part of me thinks, okay, don't read too much into like that kind of stuff. It's just players trying to find a very PR comment to say. But at the same time, if you want to take it at face value, like if it's taking you this long, like Dallow's been here almost 10 years. If you don't get it by now, then you're just not a United player. Like looking at someone like Cunha gets it. Yeah, he's struggling for goals. He was injured for a hot second, but Cunha gets it. He knows what it is to play for this club. Bruno knows what it means to play for this club. Like that's a mentality thing. And we've talked about the mentality for a long time. We talked the other day about a low performance mindset from these players. We went at it from a sports psychology point of view. Thank you, Dan Abraham, by the way, for just being an absolute pioneer in sports psychology. But yeah, you shouldn't have to. It's not that deep. Like, it is what it is, man. Rob says, Dallo named Manu. Oh, yeah, I did see that comment as well. It's interesting, right? And we're going to talk about Manu a little bit more in depth here in a little bit, but it's interesting. You can take it one way, you can take it another. My sticking point with Manu, and we're talking about it here, is the social media activity. I put a poll out on the channel's community page for you guys. So I'm surprised at the results so far. So far, you guys are in kind of backing Mainu in the situation. I was very shocked considering how many people felt about Garnacho and Rashford and Sancho and whatnot. To me, it's interesting to see so many people kind of favor Mainu, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. So let's talk about Wolves. So Amorim hasn't had the best of luck against Wolves since he's taken over at United, right? They did the double over us last season. We failed to find the back of the net altogether in both matches. It was not a good look. This season, though, we have them beat in pretty much every metric aside from interceptions and clearances per 90, I think, is what last time I checked. They are first in the Premier League for accurate long balls and crosses per 90, but they are bottom of the league for goals per match. They've only got 0.5 goals expected, and their goals conceded per match puts them at the bottom of the table as well. They're also last for shots on target, big chances missed, all this kind of stuff. I don't think they've scored a goal in their last 5 matches. They are a bit of a shit show at the moment. They've lost their best players. They are feeling it. Again, bottom of the table, just 2 points, minus 22 goal differential, 0 wins, 2 draws, and 12 losses. That is just, hey, go get your championship patch ready for next year's jersey, basically. We took one of their best players, obviously, in the summer in Cunha. Yes, he's yet to make a serious impact, at least on the score sheet. I would argue that, despite him having just the 1 goal, I would argue that Cunha is pretty impactful as a player. He does a lot for us that I think goes under the radar personally. United did have the opportunity to kick down the door to the top 5 last time out, but a lackluster performance at home to West Ham saw us drop 2 points again. So we find ourselves in 12th. At least last time I looked, I haven't checked it this morning. Just below Newcastle last time I looked, but again, a win puts us into 5th. Seriously, how shit is the Premier League this season? That as bad as Liverpool have been and as bad as we have been, that we could win a single match and we're back up in the top 5. This is giving me 15-16 vibes, man, all over again. Written, it says, dropping points to Wolves sounds inconceivable. Awesome Princess Bride shout. They're averaging a point every 7 games. They have 2 points. They're shit, man. It's so bad. Let's look at Rob Edwards, because he obviously was at Luton, went to Middlesbrough after Michael Carrick was sacked last season. But he dipped out of Middlesbrough as soon as the Wolves job became available, which I can sort of respect on one hand, just maybe taking on the monumental task of dragging Wolves out of relegation. Some managers really relish the challenge of stuff like that, or like being the guy to turn around Manchester United after 12 years of shit. But he looks out of his depth, honestly, and he's going to hurt his career, Rob Edwards, with this whole Wolves appointment. He has not made a whole lot of wholesale changes to the squad. He still opts for a back 3, but you see the back 3 shifts to a 3-2-5 when they're going on the attack. You can see they got their 3 and then the 2 drop in, and then they split up to a 5. But they also will drop into a back 5 in defense. Now, Edwards claims to be flexible, claims to be adaptable, but we haven't really seen it yet. He favors a high press. He favors a counter press after losing the ball. Again, sort of like Pep, win the ball if you lose it back within 5 seconds. Quick transitions, though, after winning that ball high up the pitch. He stated that he wants control as far away from his goal as possible. Hoof it up long, win it back. You'll also want to keep a lookout for guys like Jakob Strand-Larsen when the opposition is trying to build out. Strand-Larsen will actually take up one of these roles here where he's kind of forcing the opposition fullback to go wide, so it triggers a press from Wolves' wide players. They want to force you into these zones to win that ball back. Again, they're all about winning the ball back high up the pitch. Rob Edwards likes to get his wingbacks high, likes to get them involved in the attack. What he really needs to do, though, Edwards, is find a way to get these guys to score some goals, because they are just not scoring goals, like literally not scoring goals. No goals in their last 5, like I said. Less than half the goals scored than 19th place Burnley right now, so shit. And they recently equaled their record of most consecutive league defeats as well. I've seen Wolves fans predict that Edwards won't even last the season altogether. This is the eventual problem, and I've said this many times, whether you're a Southampton, a Dortmund, or Ajax or whatever, this is what you're going to get, the problem you're going to face when you are a selling club, when you are a club that flips players. Brighton could do this as well. if you don't keep it, it all relies on your recruitment. If you don't get your recruitment spot on, you will drop lower and lower and lower into the table. Where are Southampton these days? You can't sustain that. It's just not possible. Um, Edwards, his pattern is to soak up pressure, hoof it long, get the numbers forward to win the second balls, to win the ball high up the pitch, and get the ball into the box. They've got a lot of crosses. And if you can't win the ball high in 5 seconds, he wants his team to take a step back, regroup, and try it again. That's his MO these days. But the lack of goals and the number of goals they conceded is only one thing. The worrying issue for Wolves fans is a complete lack of fight from their players this season. They're walking around on the pitch, rolling around on the ground when they should be defending, getting up and helping out. There's no heart whatsoever. It's just, they're completely switched off. They got a back three who can't win a single header between the lot of them. Like, they are just done. They're checked out. And a fair few look like they're just looking for a way to leave. Like, they're done, dude. I've looked around on some Wolves fans forum as well. And again, the general consensus is not only that Rob Edwards is going to be sacked before the season ends, that this is the worst Wolves squad in decades. That's what a lot of people say. This team can honestly, God, the Wolves could do with a cheeky bid. If they want to boost the vibes, Wolves need to put in a cheeky bid to bring Ruben Neves home in January. That's about the best thing they could do to change some atmosphere, get a leader on that pitch to pull that team out of relegation. Ruben Neves would be a difference maker for them. Despite all that, though, you never want to take anything for granted in the Premier League. John Rickner Bellegarde's dribbling can be a problem. Remember, I did a scouting report on him way back when I was just doing a blog a long time ago. Hwang can be a handful. Obviously, he doesn't have a lot of goals, but he can be a handful. Strand Larson is exactly the kind of striker, like a Mateta, like an Igor at Brentford, the kind of striker, the big, old-school striker that we seem to struggle against. And he does play an active role, like I showed you, with just helping out with that counter press, moving wide, forcing opposition fullbacks wide when they're trying to build out from the back. Don't sleep on Totti. He may not be a great defender, but he has a knack for going on these marauding runs from deep within his own half, which creates a little bit of an overload in our defensive third. João Gomez, suspended. Good for us, bad for us, let me know. Krejci, Rodrigo Gomez, Bentley, and Bueno all injured as well. So they're down a few players as well. Let me get caught up on the chat, you guys. Hopefully we got good people here. So we got Toku. I'm not going to say the whole name because that would take a long time, but big up Toku. Welcome to the channel. He says you can easily tell the outcome of our next matches. Draw against Wolves or struggle to win. Lose against both Villa and Newcastle. No way he's beating that. I hope we don't lose against Newcastle. I'm going to be there for Newcastle. I'm going to be there for when we play Wolves in the reverse fixture at home in about 3 weeks' time. So don't put that juju on me, man. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Poppy. I am a bit of a bad luck charm when I'm there, though. So I'm just apologizing ahead of time if we don't win while Dylan and I are there. But we should be pulling points from these. But again, there's nothing guaranteed in the Premier League. That's why we watch the Premier League and we don't watch La Liga or the Bundesliga or Liga or some shit like that. You never know what could happen, man. Look at Leeds. Look at Sunderland. Like this. Look at the table right now. It's crazy. Big up, Jules. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well, Jules. Hope everyone's enjoying their weekend. What's everybody getting up to this weekend? Like I said, it's been snowing all day here for me, so I get to go deal with that shit later. Johnny says, Amorim's the type of manager to hand Wolves their first win of the season and still have people online defending him. It would be so united of us to give them their first win of the season, wouldn't it? Jules is predicting a banana skin. Where's the poll up to so far? 70% of you are saying United are going to win. 26% of you say it's going to draw. 4% of you say a Wolves win. So, Jules, it looks like we just figured out who that 4% was with your comment, my guy. Toku says, the problem with his ownership is that they don't have replacement or prepared for replacement if Amorim gets sacked. Well, I would hope that we have a replacement. We've spoken to a lot of managers around the time Ten Hag was looking iffy. We approached a lot of managers. We did a video last month on the channel. Dylan and I went through, I think, 8 manager options, if Amorim were to get sacked, because remember back in October, it was looking pretty dicey. And so if you want to go get a deep dive on what I think could be options, go check that one out. Glasner is still a lot of your guys' favorite. You guys all voted in that poll. he has the majority of the votes, I think Glasner would be a good shot. He looks like he's out of Crystal Palace anyway. He could be done sooner if they sell any more big players in January without replacing him. So could be an option too. Rob Taft says we desperately need all 3 points. We need to. We could go fifth. We definitely could go fifth with this one. Toku says 5 points away from 12 points, easy to win matches. So, well, if you're new to the channel, you know I don't really do an Amorim in, Amorim out. Y'all can say whatever you want. Yeah, I just never saw the point of it personally, but it is what it is. But yes, Danny, yes, please like and subscribe if you guys are new as well. It does help the channel. 3K giveaway if we get there before Christmas. So, Rob says, saw a tweet about Rude being lying up to step in as intern. Yeah, I don't put a whole lot of stock in what you're seeing these days. Someone shared in the WhatsApp group some tweet about Arne Slot getting sacked. I haven't seen anything, so trust me, if Arne Slot got sacked, we'd be doing a whole different video right now. We wouldn't even gotten to the team news yet. We would still be talking about laughing at Liverpool. We already had our laugh at Liverpool moment today, though. So, reading it says I wouldn't recommend that all to Ruud van Nistelrooy. Yeah, I would. I mean, it depends. There are options. There are free agent options and managers that we've spoken to. Someone like Xavi is a free agent. There are managers you might have to wait till the summer. There are options. And then if you have to wait till the summer, who do you get to do an interim? Do you want anybody else who's been interim back before? These are the same managers that we've gotten rid of. Ruud's very inexperienced. You definitely don't want to give it to Ruud full time. I wouldn't even give it to someone like McKenna full time or even Cesc Fabregas full time. They're just young managers. And maybe that's the issue with Amorim. Maybe he is young. Maybe he's still kind of learning. Maybe he's out of his depth. I don't know. We'll have that conversation if and when we need to. But Ridden says it could have sold Strand Larson for over $60 million in Newcastle. Well, you do get parachute payments, so there's that. But you wonder how many of those players have any sort of relegation clauses in them. I mean, it's very complicated behind the scenes. Johnny says it's crazy on Twitter. I was calling out Amorim for his refusal to use the academy talents and got called a Carrington sexual. Is that a thing? Is that a word? Oh, you just got to stay off social media, man. It's funny how people will say Amorim doesn't use the academy. He started Amos and Fredrickson last year against Wolves, oddly enough. He started Kavi Manu 8 or 9 of his first matches at United Amorim as well. He starts young players. I don't think Amorim trusts his bench though right now, let alone his youngsters. We know Amorim preaches this whole we want the best environment, and if you look around at any sort of academy or player care or sports psychology professionals, they will say the best route when you're especially in a rebuild, get your structure, get your foundations good, get the system in place, and then you can worry about young player development, because you don't want to try to develop young players in a shit, toxic, unstable environment. They need stability. Danny says slot in. Johnny wants Emery. Well, again, if you want to learn a little bit more about some of the options that I think could do a job, go check out that video from last month. It's a long one, but it is a good one. So go check it out. Oddly enough, Wolves are the only team with fewer clean sheets than us right now, I think. As far as United go, I mean, despite 3 center backs, back 5 oftentimes, and Amorim only seemingly capable of making defensive changes in a match, even when we're up defending a lead, we're just leaking goals right now. I'm starting to feel like there's no point in me asking anymore to increase the tempo, because it just doesn't happen. Kind of like asking Amorim to play a different formation. It just doesn't happen. There will be space in behind Wolves wingbacks if they get in the attack, so there are opportunities to exploit that space, like you see with a lot of teams who push their wingbacks high. We can exploit that with our wings. If we can just get some decent balls out wide, decent balls forward, maybe play balls into the channel. I put up the pass map against West Ham the other day. You can see we build from the left and then switch to the right to try to find Ahmad and Mbeumo, which is not, to me, that doesn't look like you're preparing for life during AFCON without those two. If that's where we're going right now, we need to try to change it up a little bit. But the problem for me is that we just seem to intentionally slow things down whenever we get into these key positions. Whenever we get the ball to an open, wide player, instead of getting their head down, kicking that ball into space and they just seem to slow down, and we seem to wait for everyone else to get back up. It allows the opposition to get back into their shape, and it's just too slow. You can't do that against Park the Bus Everton. You can't do that against West Ham. You're not going to be able to do that against Wolves either. It's just going to be another points drop situation if that's the case. I really hope DeLitt is fit because I feel like he's the only center back we have who I'd back in 1v1s against Strand Larson. I feel like that's just going to be an old school clash right there. But he wasn't even in the squad on Thursday, so I wouldn't be shocked if he wasn't included. Guys, get your starting 11s in right now. We're going to jump onto that in a second after I get caught up here in the chat. So Johnny wants Emery. Jewel says managers only learn if they're willing to. The problem with Amorim is he thinks he's right, period. Most managers do. Most managers believe in their system, believe the way they see football. And they're not going to learn whole different ways. Now, there's a difference between learning different ways to play and changing system altogether versus just making subtle tweaks and adapting a little bit to the league. There's differences to that. Glasner has adapted. Pep has adapted. I do think Amorim, we saw last month, he won Manager of the Month, has adapted a little bit, changed a little bit, had Bruno and Casemiro sitting just a little bit more deep, a little bit more compact instead of kind of pushing up a little higher. And we got some results. And then it almost feels like he did that to buy himself some time, and now he's just regressing to the mean a little bit, reverting to type. And so, again, this is why I don't get involved in the in or out. He'll get himself sacked or get himself back based on results, based on performances and things. And if he's not willing to adapt, and that's the hill he wants to die on, then hey, that's just going to be what it's going to be. I believe everybody deserves to try, deserves some chances, but we'll see. Danny says, Amory, Glasner, De Zerbi, Iriola, all great options. Yeah, Glasner got my votes. It just started at FC 26 career mode with the new live start points with Glasner. So Johnny says, to be honest, I think Amorim has lost the plot. If we had a strong midfield, other positions, I'd understand him not using Menu, but we have possibly the worst midfield in the league. Honestly, I mean, Bruno's got the most assists in the league. I think he had the most tackles against West Ham as well the other day, too. So Bruno's not, and we know Bruno's not bad. He's not a 6, though, unfortunately. He's just not. So it is what it is. Bruno is probably the best midfielder we have. Menu can't do what Bruno does. Ugarte definitely can't do what Bruno does. Casemiro can't last an hour. And so we've gone through this many, many times. We don't have the midfielders. It is what it is, man. It's academic at this point. Johnny says, and Jules brings up a good point. I can't see Menu getting in any game time under Amorim going on loan because I don't think Amorim's ego. Well, I personally don't think it's about a manager's ego and not wanting to be proved wrong. The problem with Menu, as we kind of jump into team news and starting 11. So here's the thing with Menu. I'm torn because I do feel like Casemiro needs a rest. This should have really been the game for Menu. We're 20th place Wolves. Menu scored a worldie against Wolves not that long ago. But the problem is that Menu decided to do this bullshit on social media right before this match. Again, in normal, all things being equal, you have to think you can start Kavi against this Wolves side. But if he doesn't get in, now he's kind of forced the hand because now he's going to make Amorim look bad. Either Amorim's got to discipline him for his social media activity, or Amorim relents and he looks weak. Like it's lose-lose right now for a lot of this shit. And I think that for a lot of the fan base, they're still going to back Menu, even though Menu probably should be disciplined for his social media activity. So Amorim obviously did the post-match presser against West Ham. He was asked again about Kobbie Manu, which he laughed at. Now, everybody took that completely out of context and tried to point it out, tried to make it seem like Amorim was laughing at Kobbie Manu. Amorim was laughing out of annoyance at another question about Kobbie Manu. That's why he was laughing. A journalist put an Instagram post out pointing out the fact that Amorim laughed about Kobbie Manu, and Kobbie liked that Instagram post. You can't do that. You just can't. That, to me, shows that Kobbie is trying to force the situation. He's trying to, again, like we saw Rashford, Garnacho, Sancho do, Ronaldo, trying to control the narrative, get out ahead of it, force the issue. And it's ridiculous. It's immature. It's selfish, and I don't like it. We can sit here and say that Kobbie should play. It is what it is, but you can't behave like that as a player. It completely disrespects and undermines the manager. He has to, in my opinion, he has to face the same discipline as everybody else who's done the same thing. He says it's worse than Louis Van Gaal ball. Yes, Jules, appreciate it. Yes, I don't know what the live count is. Thank you for giving me an update. Danny says Manu hasn't even given the chance to do what Bruno does. I think that the chance, Danny, at least this is me just trying to look at it from Amorim's point of view. This isn't me agreeing about it or anything. It's just me just looking at it from the point of view. And I think it has a lot like with Ten Hag. The chance comes in training, not on the pitch necessarily. The players choose the team, and they do that with training, with your attitude, where your mindset is, where your focus is. And if Manu is focused on getting in the World Cup, if he's not focused on United, then Amorim's going to give him the same treatment that he gave Rashford, that he gave Garnacho. Like, that's just the way it's going to be. And if we can't sit here on one breath and call out Rashford and Garnacho and then not do the same for Kobe. To me, it has nothing to do right now with Kobe deserving minutes. It has everything to do right now with his behavior. And we have clear evidence of his behavior, and you have to punish that. It's just the way. There has to be consequences. Jarvis says, Ineos is never going to sack Amorim. The debate should be which experienced assistant manager should we bring in to help him? Martin O'Neill. I think Martin O'Neill just left. Didn't he just leave Celtic, if I remember correctly? We could do with that. Now, that was another big issue, only bringing in Amorim's coaching staff. Now, that's normal, right? Whenever a manager goes to a new club, they usually bring their staff with them. That's Mourinho did it. Ten Hag did. Everybody does that. Now, we've had some key individuals under some of our managers too. Like we had Carrick helping out, McKenna helping out, Giggs helping out. I think Phil Neville, Nicky Butt, these guys were helping out a little bit when Giggs took over. Like, I don't have a problem with that either, because I think you do need some dissenting voices in these tight-knit groups. You can't just have an echo chamber. I think that's important. You have to have different personalities, different perspectives, different voices in those situations. So I do agree in that regard. The question is who. I know that McLaren is no longer with Jamaica. Maybe we could bring him back. Maybe you bring Ollie back. I don't know. Ridden, it says, I was impressed with the Aston Villa midfielders yesterday. Tielemans has no legs, but he's a very good footballer, passer. Onana, Kamara have the legs. I love Boubacar Kamara. I wanted Boubacar Kamara at United when he was at Marseille as a teenager, leaving on a free. He went to Aston Villa for free. The kid was captaining Marseille as a teenager. That kid is a baller. He's an absolute baller. Johnny says, to be honest, though, I don't think Manu did anything wrong. If Amorim had done what he did in the pressers about me, I'd be on social media too. And that's the thing. Where is the line? Like, we can agree, but there's certain things you can't do. Again, I think that people have blown it out of context with the way Amorim reacted. I think that he did not want another question. It's kind of like when he reacts about, like, people say changing the system. Like, you can tell he's finding it just ridiculous now, all these questions about the same thing. And I would find it ridiculous as a manager too if I kept getting asked the same exact questions week in and week out. But this is why I'm not a manager. I would hate doing press conferences as a manager. It'd be the most annoying thing in the world to do press conferences. So I understand. The problem is you're an employee of the club. You can't just behave that way on social media. It just is what it is. You can't go on. If you were working anywhere else right now as an employee and someone put a social media post about your boss and you liked it and your boss saw it, you'd probably get fired. Like, this is just the way it is. Johnny says, and from Manu point of view, for months he's been quiet and professional, and the manager still comes out. Well, he has been. But there's another side of that we just don't know. We don't know what's going on in training. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and so we don't know. He could have a poor attitude in training, for all I know. We don't know. We don't have access to that thing. Rob says, didn't Dorgu do the same thing as Manu? In what capacity? Let me know. Sanjay says Manu he's miserable. Chris, who are Palace playing right now? I know there was another match going on right now. I can't remember who it was. I was watching the women's game, then I turned on the other game as well that was on earlier. So I was watching that, the Brighton West Ham game. Palace up against Fulham. So where does that put us right now? So we're still in 12th. It is what it is. Johnny says, also, I don't think the Garnacho and Manu situations are comparable because Garnacho was starting a lot of games. But so why is that comparable? To me, I'm not looking at the reasons why. I don't think there's a justifiable excuse for a player doing that, whether you're starting games, whether you're 37-year-old Ronaldo who's won it all, or whether you're Manu who is young, who Amorim started for like 9 out of the first 10 matches in charge, who was injured for a lot of games under Amorim. Manu's got a bit of an injury history that we seem to be neglecting as well. And he's young. He's not even fully physically developed yet. He hasn't been in training enough, I think, period, because of the injuries to really get the tactical side of things. And he's young. And any other side, Manu would probably be a rotation option right now. It is, again, this is just one perspective of it, but Jules says it is foolish by Manu. Until now it's been speculation, but now we have proof he's got a problem. Yeah, and it is what it is, man. And I think that these players know exactly what they're doing. I think that this is calculated. I think that Manu has every intention of forcing the move. And now now we're in a situation where he can't come back. Like, you can't allow him to come back. He has to basically apologize now, or he's not coming back, because now Amorim looks weak if he lets him back in the club, man. So Jules says Amorim clearly wasn't laughing about Manu. He was laughing at the irony. Yeah, that's exactly what I've said, man. I'm probably need to get caught up on this whole thing. Johnny says, to be honest, Amorim probably needs to clear up and explain. But that's the thing. We've got a situation where you could read Amorim's laughter a number of ways. You can't read Manu's behavior a number of ways. It is what it is, right? You just can't do it. Jarvis says, I agree, but remember, Cobby's getting desperate now. Amorim talks a good game, but he's so rigid and so consumed by his own system that he's... I agree that Amorim is a bit rigid. I've said many times he's definitely more of a Pep than an Ollie when it comes to the rigidity and almost like this legalistic approach to the way he wants football played. I fully agree, but I think those are separate issues. Maybe I'm just old school. You can't undermine your manager as a player. I don't care how frustrated you are. I don't care about any of that. And this is where social media coaching and regulations at clubs are important, because yes, you can say it's freedom of expression, but you're not free of consequence. You can go on and do whatever you want on social media, but there are consequences to your behavior. And this needs to be one of them. He needs to be disciplined, completely left out of the squad, or if he's not going to change, if he's going to keep throwing his behaving then he needs to go. And I've been saying this for a while now. If Cobby's focus has been on getting minutes for the World Cup, then he shouldn't be playing. He should be focused. His focus should be on accepting this challenge, working hard, asking the manager, what do you need? What are you not seeing from me? Let's do it. Like, we all said this about Højlund. Go and get extra training. Go and ask questions. We're all happy to throw Højlund under the bus when he was not getting, when he wasn't performing. We said he needed to do these extra things. If Cobby is not doing what Amorim wants, if he's not able to get around the pitch as much, if he's not as physical, if he's not as quick, whatever, then learn how to impress that, or find ways to kind of make up for that in other areas of your game. If Amorim's not seeing it, and I think a lot of it does have to do with mentality, then you have to back Amorim in that regard. It's not whether or not we like Cobby, because now you're drifting into player FC territory. It's same standards for everybody else. We were happy to call out Rashford, Sancho, Ronaldo, Garnacho for it. We have to have the same energy, in my opinion. You guys can feel whatever. I welcome opposition views here. I really do. Rob says he sees it more as Manu giving Amorim said feedback, but again, you can't take it back now. And again, should a player be allowed to do that without consequence? Rob says, I thought Dorgu liked a tweet that criticized the Cruise. I don't remember that. If he did, let me know where to find it, because I just don't remember. I didn't know that. I don't pay attention to Dorgu's things on there. Danny says, looking at Baleba again today, Manu was better. Manu, and do everything Baleba can do, has more to his game in the final third. Yeah, I think that Manu does have a lot to offer. I don't know if I fully rely on Manu against every single opposite. Like, Manu is not the midfielder I want necessarily when you've got a lot of physical fight in there. When you're going to be chasing that midfield, when maybe you're facing a 3-man midfield as a double pivot. I don't know if I necessarily trust Manu. I think he's press resistant. I think he's good on the ball. I think he can carry the ball, which you guys know I love from midfielders. And I do think he's very, very effective in the final third, as we've seen. I think he could have been useful against Everton when they were kind of parking the bus. I think he has a lot of good movement in and around the final third. I was very critical of Amorim after West Ham. You guys know I keep the same energy. When Amorim said we needed some more attack, and then he asked the journalists, who do we have in attack? I literally blasted Amorim that you've got guys like Manu, guys like Lacey, who could have been the answer. Like, I keep the same energy for everybody, but I asked for the same kind of standards from everybody as well. Like Danny says, you agree with the standards. You treat everybody the same. You can't post favorites. Rob says the post Dorgu's account liked featured a screenshot of a comment that read, any coach that sees Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes as a viable pivot is one that isn't serious. Did Dorgu do that? I didn't know that. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, if Dorgu did something like that, then he's got to get dropped too. Obviously, I haven't seen that from Dorgu, so I have no comment on that yet. But I'll go look it up. But if Dorgu did actually say that, it's a legitimate Dorgu account, then he's got to go. Danny says, not saying play him every game, but certain fixtures. Yeah, I agree. And that's all Kobe had to do is maybe sit and realize, okay, manager clearly doesn't see something. Maybe I need to work a little harder. Maybe there's something more to do. Figure out what he needs. And Shesko has done that. Shesko has commonly been his claim that he's asking all these questions. He's staying late. He's doing extras. All this stuff. That's all you need to do as a young player, especially. Danny says, especially when you want to keep the ball and try to break down. Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. I think you should be able to play Kobe against certain opposition. You should be able, at least during AFCON, maybe put Bruno a little higher up the pitch, play Kobe in the pitch. If you, and again, all other things being equal, this would have been the game. Maybe Casemiro gets a rest and Kobe comes in and starts and plays in that midfield and has an opportunity to show what he can do against a shit Wolf side. No offense. But again, this is why I also am a little more harsh on Kobe, because the timing of it, this is why I'm like, this is intentional. You're trying to force the situation. You knew exactly what was going to happen. So it's really annoying. But yeah, Jules, if that was something Dorgu done in social media, then that's a big problem. I'll have to go look that up after the show. But as far as team news goes, sorry, I went on a little rant there. It is a return to the Molineux for Matthias Cunha, so we'll see how he hangs with that one. Maybe he'll get a good reception. Maybe he won't. I don't have a problem with fans booing former players. That's all part of it. Maguire's still a question mark. Obviously, Shesko is going to miss out again as well. I haven't seen any pressers. If anyone's seen any presser, let me know if there's any updates in team news. I thought I read that Dallo might have picked up a knock. I would rather not start Xerxes again personally. But again, the midfield situation, we just talked about that. You'd think this was a game to give Casemiro a rest and start Kobe. Obviously, I don't know if that can happen now. But again, if there was a match to give either Bruno or Casemiro a rest, this was going to be it. Like, I'm not saying you take it for granted, but this would be the one. Again, it was like Grimsby. It's not that I'm like, okay, it's shit opposition, we can't afford it. It's that this is the kind of match that any rotation players who we or themselves think should be getting more minutes, this was the chance, like Grimsby, for them to show it. Kobe started Grimsby, Xerxes started Grimsby. We had other players starting against Grimsby, and they couldn't hang. I'm not blaming the players themselves. I'm saying you have to grasp your opportunities when you have them, and that's the question I have for everybody. And again, it is a shit situation with Kobe, because again, he scored that worldie against Wolves not that long ago, but I imagine Amorim's going to go with Bruno and Casemiro since we're not playing that many games right now. Maybe bring them off if we're up by a few goals. Because we all know if we're only up by one goal, he's going to make changes to the back line, because that's just what Amorim does. I would love to see Shea Lacey get on the pitch as well if we need to a little more directness, a little bit more precociousness on those wide areas and some energy. I think that would hit like crack, but I doubt Amorim's going to do. Maybe at home. Maybe I'll get lucky and see that when we're there at Old Trafford. But yeah, let me know who you'd like to see in here. Let me know your score predictions. I want to know what you guys think this is going to look like. 70% of you think that United will win. I'm going to go 2-0 United. I think that this is when our second clean sheet comes. I think that Wolves are just that bad. This definitely, to me, this feels like a 2-0. I almost went 3-1, but I'm going 2-0. If we can't beat these, and if we can't keep a clean sheet against these, then I'm literally out of answers, personally. You might as well just deactivate the channel at that point, of course. Again, like I said earlier, it would also be the most United thing ever to hand Wolves their first win of the season. So, I mean, it is the season of giving, right? As you can see. Oh, yeah, I forgot. You guys like my new shirt? My Roy Keane shirt? Praising Santa for delivering presents. That's his job. Yep, this was my Christmas present to myself. You guys know that I spend too much money on footy. But if we do hand Wolves anything other than an L, then that very thin ice that I spoke about that Amorim is on, it could start cracking. If the performance is anything other than a big side versus 20th place, then the ice will be cracking. We can't dominate Liverpool to the literal letter of Ruben Amorim's game plan one week and then fail to turn up against Everton, West Ham, or Wolves. That just can't happen anymore. Like, where's the consistency? Where's like the adaptation? Where's the subtle little changes? focus on the controllables. We can control what we do in possession. We can control our positioning. We control the way we press. We can control our reading and our movement in space. Don't focus so much on the result. Just control what we can and go through there. Now, I heard too that there's going to be a protest ahead of this one. Wolves fans just not happy. I've read the protests is they're all going to be outside there and they're going to come in the 15th minute. So we'll see if that actually ends up going down. Danny says, I'm hoping for a clean sheet and DeLitt will be fit, but I can't see it. Yeah, I'm going 2-0. Y'all let me know what you think. Danny says going with a 2-all draw. Rob is going, I'd like 4, but 2-0 sounds more realistic. Yeah, to me, looking at some of Wolves' results, 2-0 sounds a little bit realistic. Again, I don't know. I'm just guessing here, but it could come back to bite me, but I almost feel like Wolves need to start planning for how to win promotion next season. I think that they're going to get relegated. They just are, personally. I'll throw my 11 on there while I'm at it, since I forgot to do that earlier. This was the 11 that I wanted to go with. It just got to be a point that I didn't know what to do with Manu, so I just gave up on it. But if all things being equal, this would have been the 11 I'd gone with Manu and Bruno midfield, Mount, Cunha, and Mbumo up top. You guys know I'm ready to start Leach. I think he's fine. I think he's ready to go. And this was me assuming that DeLitt is not going to be fit as well. I just think that DeLitt, it's a question mark. So we'll leave that up there for a hot second. But yeah, it could come back to bite me, but Wolves, they're probably just certs for relegation. They're not staying up. Like, sell a few players in January, cushion the blow, go bring Ruben Neves back for just good vibes mid-season. And next season, just go find a couple of the best championship players that help you win back promotion. They're probably going to be in with a shout to get promoted again. There's simply no reason, is basically what I'm getting at, for us not to come away with all 3 points. Anything but a win is a loss, in my opinion, even if it's a draw. But again, how shit is the Premier League this season that, as bad as we've been and as bad as Liverpool are, that, again, a win puts us in 5th. But it doesn't seem like neither us or Liverpool want 5th place right now. I mean, it's a shit league. Chelsea spent over $1 billion and are just 3 points above us for consideration. Everton, Palace, Villa, and Sunderland are above us and Liverpool, which is, again, that's where the league is. We could jump right ahead of everybody tomorrow. And honestly, in the beginning of the season, most of us would have bitten your hand off for that, right? 5th place by Christmas. Yeah, we'd love that. No one would have thought that. But again, like I said, this is giving me 2015 vibes right now when everyone was just shit. So we'll see what happens. I'll take this off the screen now. But yeah, I didn't, predict 11. I just started giving up after a while because I'm like, this with injuries and shit, you just never know what's going to happen. Danny thinks Dallo is going to be on the left. Yeah, probably. Dallo had a decent showing against West Ham. It wasn't great, decent by Dallo's standards. Jules is going 1-all. Everybody's so pessimistic today. You guys are funny. It sounds like everyone's just checked out. The FA Cup draw is tomorrow, so don't forget that. So we'll see who we get in the first round. I mean, you almost think, cool, get us Bradford or something, but Grimsby destroyed us. So we'll see what that. We'll check in with you guys on that one. This is the last day, like I said, for 20% off in the UVE store. Go check that out as well. You can see some sample products below your video player if you've been watching. So we'll see what goes, but I'm going 2-0 United. Also, if you play FC26, Gilberto Mora has been added to the game as a free agent now. So if you guys are all about that, like Rob says, a loss and we remain 12th. Yeah. I would love us to go 5th. We should really be in the top 4 at the moment. The points we've dropped have just been absolutely inexcusable. And that's a worry, right? That's a worry that we just don't seem to be able to finish these games. We don't seem to be able to see out 1-goal leads and shit, man. Danny says, I said in the summer, we'd be lucky to get 6th, but that's just frustrating. We could be 3. Yeah, we could be, man. We could literally end with a shout. And that's a mentality thing. When you're letting go of 1-goal leads, I don't mean mentality just for players. I mean mentality for manager. When you've got a 1-goal lead at home and you're throwing on defenders instead of maybe just trying to unlock it. When you're facing 10-men Everton and you're chasing the game and you bring on defenders instead of putting on more attackers, that's a mentality thing, man. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there, you guys. As Rob Taft says, we're on the road to 3K. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you are new. Yes, and like Rob says, please go hit the hype on your phone on some old videos if you can. It does help the channel a lot. I really do appreciate that. It takes a couple seconds. Don't forget, members, you get access to a lot of things, WhatsApp groups. You can join in on the Kickabout virtually for Legends members, and you can also have a say in the content suggestions for what if episodes, scouting reports, and all that fun stuff. So get involved. I love to see the community growing. Love to see everybody getting involved. Dude, I would love to jaw Grimsby and go get some redemption, man. That would be great. Although we'd probably lose. But, until the next time, guys, hopefully I'll be back talking about 3 points the next time I see you. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. If we do lose, try not to let it ruin your day, but we'll see. But take it easy, guys. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Thanks for stopping by. Later.